Lyra Moonwhisper stood in the dirty spaceship yard on Nexus Station. Her silver hair caught the artificial light as she looked at the old cargo ship in front of her. The ship was called the Stellar Drift, and it looked terrible. Paint was falling off its metal sides. One of the engines had burn marks on it. The landing gear made strange noises when it moved. "She's not much to look at," said the dealer, a fat human named Pete who smelled like cheap alcohol. "But she flies. The previous owner had some bad luck, if you know what I mean." Lyra knew exactly what he meant. The previous owner was dead. That was why she could afford this ship. Her pointed ears twitched as she walked around the vessel. Being an elf meant she could hear things humans missed. The ship's hull was solid, even if it looked bad. "How much?" she asked. 15,000 credits. Lyra laughed. "For this piece of junk? 8,000. They argued for 10 minutes. Finally, they agreed on 10,000 credits. Lyra paid with credits she had earned smuggling medical supplies to outer colonies. It was dangerous work, but it paid well. 3 hours later, Lyra was alone on her new ship. She walked through the corridors, checking everything. The life support systems worked. The lights flickered but stayed on. The gravity generator made a humming sound, but it kept working. She found the cargo bay at the back of the ship. It was a large empty room with metal walls. This was where she would hide the goods she smuggled. The bay looked normal at first, but Lyra had sharp eyes from 300 years of living. She noticed something strange. One wall had scratches on it that formed a pattern. When she pressed on a certain spot, a hidden panel opened. Behind it was a small space, just big enough for a person to hide. Inside the space was a little girl. The child was human, maybe 8 years old. She had brown hair that was dirty and tangled. Her clothes were torn and stained. She was sleeping, curled up like a frightened animal. Next to her were empty food packages and water bottles. Lyra's heart stopped. She had seen many things in her long life, but finding a child hidden in her ship was not one of them. "Hey," Lyra said softly. "Wake up." The girl's eyes opened. They were bright blue and filled with fear. She looked at Lyra's pointed ears and silver hair. "Are you one of them?" the girl whispered. "One of who?" Lyra asked. "The bad people, the ones in white coats." Lyra crouched down to be at the girl's level. "I'm not wearing a white coat. What's your name?" "Maya," the girl said. She was shaking. "How long have you been hiding here, Maya?" "I don't know. A long time. I ate all the food." Lyra helped Maya out of the hiding space. The girl was thin and weak. She had trouble standing up. "We need to get you some help," Lyra said. "I'll call the station security. They can find your parents." Maya grabbed Lyra's arm. Her grip was surprisingly strong. "No, you can't call them. They'll find me. They'll take me back to the bad place." "What bad place?" Maya's eyes went wide with terror. "The place with needles and machines, where they hurt children." Lyra felt cold. She had heard stories about illegal experiments, but she tried not to think about them. "Okay," she said. "No station security, but you need food and medical care." She took Maya to the ship's small kitchen. There wasn't much food, but she found some protein bars and clean water. Maya ate like she hadn't seen food in days. While Maya ate, Lyra tried to use the ship's communication system. She wanted to contact child services on another station, but something was wrong. The communication array wasn't working. Every frequency was jammed. That was when Lyra knew they were in serious trouble. The ship's alarm started screaming. Lyra ran to the cockpit and looked at the scanner. 3 large ships had appeared around the stellar drift. They were corporate security vessels painted white and armed with heavy weapons. A voice came over the radio. "Attention cargo vessel Stellar Drift. You are carrying stolen property. Surrender the package immediately." Lyra looked back at Maya, who was hiding behind the kitchen counter. The little girl's face was white with fear. "They found me," Maya whispered. Lyra made a decision that would change her life forever. She ran to the pilot's seat and started the engines. The old ship groaned and shook, but it lifted off from the station. "This is your final warning," the radio voice said. "Surrender the package or we will open fire." Package, Lyra said into the radio. I don't know what you're talking about. Red laser beams shot past the cockpit window. The corporate security ships were firing at them. Lyra pushed the engines to maximum power. The stellar drift was old, but it was fast. She flew between the other ships docked at the station, using them as cover. Hold on, she yelled to Maya. More laser beams filled the space around them. One hit the ship's rear shield, making sparks fly from the control panel. Lyra's hands moved across the controls with the skill of someone who had been flying for centuries. She found a gap between two security ships and flew through it. The stellar drift shot away from the station like a bullet. Prepare for hyperspace jump, Lyra said. The hyperspace drive was old and needed time to charge. Behind them, the security ships were getting closer. Their weapons were more powerful than anything on Lyra's cargo ship. The hyperspace drive finally finished charging. Lyra grabbed the jump lever and pulled it. The stars outside the window turned into long white lines as the ship entered hyperspace. They were safe for now, but Lyra knew this was just the beginning. Someone had sent corporate security after Maya. That meant the little girl was more important than she looked. As they traveled through hyperspace, Maya came to the cockpit. She sat in the co-pilot's chair and looked at Lyra with those bright, blue eyes. Thank you, Maya said quietly. Don't thank me yet, Lyra replied. We're both in trouble now. Maya was quiet for a moment. Then she said something that made Lyra's blood turn cold. I can hear your thoughts, Maya whispered. I'm sorry. I can't help it. Lyra stared at the child. A telepath. That explained why everyone wanted her so badly. The hyperspace drive made a grinding noise. Red warning lights started flashing on the control panel. The ship dropped out of hyperspace in empty space, far from any star or planet. Lyra checked the damage. The hyperspace drive was broken. They were stranded. She looked at Maya, who was staring out at the black space filled with distant stars. Looks like we're stuck together, Lyra said. Maya nodded. The bad people won't stop looking for me. Then we'll have to make sure they don't find you. For the first time since waking up, Maya smiled. 3 days passed in the empty space between stars. Lyra worked on fixing the hyperspace drive while Maya watched her from a corner of the engine room. The little girl was quiet most of the time, but Lyra could feel her watching every move. Hand me that wrench, Lyra said, pointing to a tool on the floor. Maya picked it up and gave it to her. Their fingers touched for a second, and Lyra felt something strange in her mind, like someone else's thoughts mixing with her own. Sorry, Maya said quickly. I didn't mean to. Mean to what? Look inside your head. It happens when I touch people. Sometimes? Lyra put down the wrench and looked at Maya. What did you see? Maya's face turned red. You're hungry, and you don't know how to take care of kids. You keep thinking about food for elves, not humans. Lyra realized the girl was right. She had been eating dried fruits and vegetables that elves liked. But Maya needed different food. Human children needed things like milk and meat and cooked vegetables. I've never had to feed a human child before, Lyra admitted. That's okay, Maya said. I can eat anything. I had to, in the bad place. Lyra felt angry when Maya talked about the bad place. Someone had hurt this child, and that made her want to hurt them back. They went to the kitchen together. Lyra looked through the food supplies she had bought. There were protein bars, dried meat, canned vegetables, and water purification tablets. Can you cook? Lyra asked. Maya shook her head. They gave us food through tubes in the bad place. We weren't allowed in kitchens. Lyra decided to try making soup. She had watched human cooks before. How hard could it be? Very hard, it turned out. The first attempt burned and filled the kitchen with smoke. The second attempt was too salty. The third attempt was too watery. Maya laughed when Lyra tasted the watery soup and made a face. It was the first time Lyra had heard the girl laugh. We can eat protein bars, Maya said. They're not bad. They sat together in the kitchen, eating protein bars and drinking water. Maya was still thin, but she looked better than when Lyra first found her. How old are you, really? Maya asked. 312 years old. Maya's eyes went wide. That's really old. Not for an elf. We live for thousands of years. Have you ever had kids? Lyra was quiet for a long time. I had a family once, during the Void War. They died when the enemy bombed our colony. Maya reached out and touched Lyra's hand. This time Lyra didn't mind the strange feeling in her mind. She could feel Maya's sadness and understanding. I'm sorry, Maya said. It was a long time ago. But it still hurts. Lyra nodded. Yes, it still hurts. They finished eating in comfortable silence. Then Lyra showed Maya around the ship. She explained how the life support systems worked, how to check the fuel levels, and how to use the emergency controls. Why are you teaching me this? Maya asked. Because if something happens to me, you need to know how to survive. Maya stopped walking. Are you going to leave me somewhere? No, Lyra said without thinking. Then she realized what she had said. I mean, we need to find you a safe place, somewhere the bad people can't find you. There is no safe place, Maya said quietly. They have lots of money and lots of ships. They won't stop looking. That night, Lyra couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about Maya's words. The girl was probably right. Corporate security had unlimited resources. They would search every planet and station until they found her. She heard a noise from Maya's room and went to check. Maya was having a nightmare. She was crying and saying no over and over. Lyra sat on the edge of the bed and gently shook Maya's shoulder. Wake up, it's just a dream. Maya's eyes opened, but they looked confused and scared. Where am I? You're on my ship. You're safe. Maya sat up and hugged Lyra tightly. Lyra felt the strange mental connection again, but stronger this time. She could see flashes of Maya's memories, white rooms with bright lights, people in white, coats with needles, other children crying. The memories were so real that Lyra felt sick. How could anyone do that to children? I can't control it when I'm scared, Maya whispered. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry, it's not your fault. Lyra stayed with Maya until she fell asleep again. She realized that she was starting to care about this little girl. That was dangerous. Caring about someone made you weak. It made you make bad decisions. But she couldn't help it. The next morning, Lyra's friend Kate arrived. Kate flew a small, fast ship that could slip past most scanners. She brought food, medical, supplies, and information. Kate was a short woman with red hair and freckles. She sold things on the black market and asked very few questions. She had been Lyra's friend for 20 years. So this is the kid everyone's looking for, Kate said, looking at Maya. Maya hid behind Lyra. She didn't like strangers. What have you heard? Lyra asked. Kate pulled out a data pad. Bad news. The kid is from something called Project Mindbridge. It was a secret government program to create telepathic soldiers. Lyra felt cold. Soldiers? They were trying to make superpowered humans who could read minds and control thoughts. The project was shut down after most of the test subjects died, but a few survived. Maya was the only survivor, Kate explained. The scientists had done something to her DNA that made her telepathic abilities very strong. Every government and corporation in the galaxy wanted to study her or use her as a weapon. There's more, Kate said. The Stellar Covenant thinks she's some kind of religious sign. They want to either worship her or kill her depending on which faction you ask. And the pirates just want to sell her to the highest bidder. What about the Earth Alliance? They're calling her a strategic asset. They want to protect her, but that means locking her up in a research facility for the rest of her life. Lyra looked at Maya, who was listening to everything. The little girl's face was pale but calm. So everyone wants me, Maya said, but nobody wants to let me be free. Kate nodded sadly. That's about right, kid. Lyra made a decision. Then we don't let anyone find her. Lyra, Kate said carefully, you can't run forever. These people have entire fleets. They have spies everywhere. I've been running from people, My whole life, Lyra said. I'm good at it. Kate looked at both of them for a long moment. You're really going to do this? Keep her with you? Lyra looked down at Maya, who was holding onto her arm. She's safer with me than anywhere else. The kid could be dangerous, Kate warned. Telepaths can be unstable, especially ones who've been through trauma. I'm not dangerous, Maya said quietly. I just want to be left alone. Kate's expression softened. I know, sweetheart, but the people looking for you don't care what you want. After Kate left, Lyra and Maya finished repairing the hyperspace drive. As they worked together, Lyra realized something had changed. She wasn't just protecting Maya anymore. She was starting to think of the girl as family. That scared her more than any corporate security ship. 2 weeks later, Lyra brought the stellar drift to Freeport Haven. It was a huge space station that spun slowly in the darkness between star systems. Pirates, smugglers, and other criminals came here because no government controlled it. Stay close to me, Lyra told Maya as they walked through the station's main corridor. And keep your hood up. Maya pulled her hood over her brown hair. She wore old clothes that made her look like any other refugee child. But Lyra was still nervous. Freeport Haven was supposed to be safe, but something felt wrong. The station was too quiet. Usually the corridors were full of traders selling illegal goods and mercenaries looking for work. Today most of the shops were closed. They reached the trading post where Lyra planned to buy supplies. The owner, a blue-skinned alien named Zek, looked nervous when he saw them. Lyra, Zek said in his raspy voice, you should not be here. Why not? Dangerous people are asking questions about you. And about a human child. Lyra's hand moved to the laser pistol on her belt. What kind of dangerous people? Corporate security. They arrived 3 days ago. They have been talking to everyone offering money for information. Maya grabbed Lyra's arm. We should go, she whispered. Lyra nodded. They turned to leave, but it was too late. 6 security guards in white armor blocked the corridor behind them. More guards appeared from the side passages. Captain Moon Whisper, said a woman's voice. Please don't make this difficult. A tall woman with short black hair walked toward them. She wore a corporate security uniform with commander's marks. Her eyes were cold and calculating. Commander Lisa Grant, she said, introducing herself. You have something that belongs to my employers. I don't know what you're talking about, Lyra said. The child. She was stolen from a legal research facility. We're here to return her to her proper guardians. Maya stepped out from behind Lyra. I don't have guardians, and I wasn't stolen. I escaped. Commander Grant smiled, but it wasn't a friendly smile. Hello, Maya. We've been very worried about you. The doctors want to make sure you're healthy. Those weren't doctors, Maya said. They were people who hurt children. I think you're confused. Sometimes trauma can make children remember things incorrectly. Lyra could see that Maya was getting upset. The little girl's hands were shaking. You're not taking her, Lyra said. I'm afraid I am. This station's security force has agreed to help us. You're outnumbered and outgunned. More security guards appeared. They had laser rifles and stun weapons. Lyra counted at least 20 of them. But Lyra had been in worse situations. She grabbed Maya's hand and pulled her toward a side corridor. Run, she yelled. They ran through the narrow passages of the station while the guards chased them. Lyra knew Freeport Haven better than most people. She had been coming here for 50 years. Behind them, she could hear Commander Grant shouting orders. Use stun weapons only, do not harm the child. Lyra led Maya through maintenance tunnels and service corridors. They climbed down ladders and squeezed through air vents. The guards were having trouble following them in the tight spaces. They reached the station's industrial sector where big machines recycled air and water. The noise was loud, and steam from the pipes made it hard to see. This way, Lyra said, pulling Maya toward a hidden exit, but more guards were waiting for them. They had predicted where Lyra would go. Surrender now, Commander Grant said. She had followed them with a smaller group of guards. You can't escape. Maya was breathing hard and looking scared. Lyra could feel the girl's fear through their mental connection. That's when something strange happened. Maya screamed. But it wasn't a normal scream. It was something else. Something that came from her mind, instead of her voice. Lyra felt it like a wave of pressure inside her head. All the guards stopped moving. They dropped their weapons and grabbed their heads. Some of them fell to the ground. Commander Grant's face went white, and she backed away from Maya. "What did you do?" the commander whispered. Maya looked surprised. I don't know. I was scared, and it just happened." The telepathic scream had affected everyone within 50 meters. Guards throughout the industrial sector were calling for help on their radios. Some were unconscious. Others were vomiting or crying. "We have to go now," Lyra said. They ran toward the docking bay where the stellar drift was parked. But Lyra knew they wouldn't make it alone. There were too many guards between them and their ship. That's when Captain Sophie Martinez appeared. Sophie was Lyra's old mentor, a tough woman with gray hair and scars on her face. She had taught Lyra how to fight and how to survive in space. Now she commanded a group of mercenaries. "Need some help?" Sophie asked. She had 20 armed mercenaries with her. "Sophie, how did you find us?" "Kate told me you were in trouble. She asked me to keep an eye on you." Sophie's mercenaries fought the corporate security guards while Lyra and Maya ran to their ship. The battle was loud and chaotic. Laser beams filled the air and smoke from damaged equipment made it hard to see. They reached the stellar drift just as more corporate security ships arrived outside the station. Lyra started the engines while Sophie's people held off the guards. "Thank you," Lyra called to Sophie over the radio. "Don't thank me yet," Sophie replied. "We need to talk. Meet me at coordinates I'm sending you." The stellar drift lifted off from the station and flew into space. Behind them, the battle was still going on. Lyra hoped Sophie and her people would be okay. As they flew away from Freeport Haven, Maya sat quietly in the co-pilot's seat. "I hurt those people," she said sadly. "You defended yourself. That's different. But I could have killed them. I felt how much pain I was causing and I liked it." Lyra looked at Maya with concern. "You liked it?" "For a second, yes. They were trying to hurt us, and I wanted to hurt them back. That scares me." Lyra understood. Power could be dangerous, especially when you were angry or afraid. She had seen good people do terrible things when they had too much power. "We'll figure it out," Lyra promised. "But first, we need to meet Sophie." They flew to the coordinates Sophie had sent. It was an empty area of space near a dead planet. Sophie's ship, the Iron Wolf, was waiting for them. Sophie came aboard the stellar drift with 2 of her mercenaries. She looked serious. "We need to talk about the kid," Sophie said. "Her name is Maya." "Maya, then? Do you know what she really is?" Lyra frowned. "What do you mean?" Sophie pulled out a data pad. "I've been doing research since Kate called me. Project Mindbridge wasn't just about making telepathic soldiers. They were trying to create something much more dangerous." She showed Lyra pictures of ancient alien ruins. "These are architect sites. The architects were an alien race that disappeared millions of years ago. They left behind technology that can change reality itself." "What does that have to do with Maya?" "The scientists used architect DNA in their experiments. Maya isn't just telepathic, she's a living key to architect technology. With her abilities, someone could control weapons that could destroy entire star systems." Lyra felt cold. "That's impossible." Maya had been listening to everything. Now she spoke up. "It's not impossible. I can feel them sometimes. The architects, they're not really gone. They're sleeping, waiting for someone to wake them up." Sophie and Lyra stared at the little girl. "Every major power in the galaxy is going to want her," Sophie continued. "Not just corporate security, the Earth Alliance, the Kree Empire, everyone. They'll tear the galaxy apart fighting over her." "So what do you suggest?" Lyra asked. Sophie was quiet for a moment. "There's an organization that wants to protect her. They have resources and safe places to hide. I could arrange a meeting." "What kind of organization?" "The kind that keeps dangerous things away from people who would misuse them." Lyra didn't like the sound of that. No, I'm not handing her over to anyone else. Lyra, you can't protect her from the entire galaxy. Be realistic. I've been protecting her so far. And how's that working out? You almost got captured on Freeport Haven. Maya had to use her powers to save you. What happens when she can't control them anymore? Maya stood up. I want to stay with Lyra. She's the only person who's ever been nice to me. Sophie looked sad. I understand, sweetheart, but this is bigger than what any of us want. After Sophie left, Lyra and Maya were alone on their ship again. They sat in the kitchen eating dinner and not talking much. Finally, Maya broke the silence. Do you think Sophie is right? That I'm too dangerous to be free? Lyra thought carefully before answering. I think you're a little girl who's been through terrible things. And I think the people who want to use you are the real danger. But what if I hurt people by accident? What if I can't control my powers? Then we'll figure out how to help you control them. Together. Maya smiled for the first time that day. Promise? I promise. But as they prepared for bed, Lyra wondered if she was making a mistake. Maya's powers were growing stronger. What would happen when they became too strong for a child to handle? A week after escaping from Freeport Haven, Lyra received a message on a secret frequency. It was from Dr. Amy Chen, the scientist who had helped Maya escape from the laboratory. Meet me at these coordinates, the message said. I have information you need to know about Maya's condition. Lyra was suspicious, but Maya's powers were getting stronger every day. Sometimes the little girl would accidentally read the thoughts of people on other ships when they passed by. Once she had given Lyra a terrible headache just by having a bad dream. They flew to an asteroid field where Dr. Chen's research ship was hidden. The ship was called the New Hope, and it was full of scientific equipment. Dr. Chen was a small Asian woman with kind eyes and gray hair. She hugged Maya when they came aboard. I'm so glad you're safe, Dr. Chen said. I've been worried about you. Why didn't you take me with you when you escaped? Maya asked. Dr. Chen looked sad. I tried, sweetheart, but the other scientists discovered my plan. I barely got away myself. I had to leave you behind, and I felt terrible about it ever since. They went to Dr. Chen's laboratory, which was full of computers and medical scanners. Dr. Chen asked Maya to sit on an examination table. I need to check how much your abilities have grown, Dr. Chen explained. It's very important. She used special machines to scan Maya's brain. The results appeared on a large screen. Lyra couldn't understand most of it, but Dr. Chen's face looked worried. It's worse than I thought, Dr. Chen said. Maya, your telepathic abilities are growing too fast. Your brain is changing in ways we didn't expect. What does that mean? Lyra asked. Dr. Chen showed them pictures of Maya's brain scans. The architect DNA that was used in the experiments is still active. It's rewriting Maya's genetic code, making her more like the architects and less like a human. Maya looked scared. Am I going to stop being human? I don't know, Dr. Chen said honestly. The architects were a very different species from humans. They didn't have individual minds like we do. They shared a collective consciousness. Lyra felt cold. You're saying Maya might lose her personality? It's possible. Or she might gain abilities so powerful that she won't be able to relate to normal humans anymore. Dr. Chen explained more about the architects. They had been the most advanced species in the galaxy millions of years ago. They had built machines that could change space and time itself. But something had happened to them. They had all disappeared at the same time, leaving only their empty cities and dormant technology. The scientists who created Project Mindbridge thought they could control the architect DNA, Dr. Chen said. They were wrong. It has its own agenda. She showed them more data on her computers. The architect technology scattered across the galaxy was all connected. When Maya used her powers, she was sending signals to these ancient machines. That's why everyone wants her, Dr. Chen continued. With Maya's abilities, someone could activate all the architect technology at once. They could reshape the entire galaxy. But Maya doesn't want to do that, Lyra said. It might not be her choice. The architect DNA is designed to seek out and activate their technology. As Maya gets older and more powerful, she might not be able to resist the urge. Maya had been listening quietly. Now she spoke up. Sometimes I dream about the architects. I see their cities and their machines. In the dreams, I want to wake them up. Dr. Chen nodded sadly. That's the architect DNA influencing your thoughts. They talked for hours about possible solutions. Dr. Chen had been working on a treatment that might slow down the genetic changes, but it was dangerous and might not work. There's something else, Dr. Chen said. You weren't the only child in the program, Maya. There were 12 others. The scientists told everyone they died, but that wasn't true. Maya's eyes went wide. There are others like me. Yes. They're hidden in a secret facility. The scientists are still experimenting on them. Lyra felt angry. Where? Dr. Chen gave them the coordinates. But you can't rescue them alone. The facility is heavily guarded, and some of the children are unstable. Their minds have been damaged by the experiments. Before they could plan anything, alarms started ringing on Dr. Chen's ship. Someone was attacking them. They ran to the bridge and saw Sophie's ship, the Iron Wolf, approaching with weapons ready. Sophie? Lyra said, confused. What are you doing? Sophie's voice came over the radio. I'm sorry, Lyra, but this is bigger than friendship. The Iron Wolf fired a weapon that shut down the New Hope's engines. Then boarding pods attached to the hull and Sophie's mercenaries cut their way inside. Sophie herself came to the bridge with a group of armed soldiers. But these weren't her usual mercenaries. They wore black uniforms with a strange symbol. You lied to me, Lyra said to Sophie. I didn't lie. I said there was an organization that wanted to protect Maya. I just didn't tell you that protection meant control. One of the soldiers stunned Dr. Chen with an electric weapon. She fell to the floor unconscious. Don't hurt her, Maya cried. We won't hurt anyone if you cooperate, Sophie said. Maya, you're going to come with us. We have a safe place where you can learn to control your powers. I don't want to go with you. Sophie's expression softened. I know this is scary, sweetheart, but you're too dangerous to be left alone. You could accidentally hurt people, or worse, you could activate architect technology without meaning to. Lyra stepped in front of Maya. She's not going anywhere. Lyra, please, don't make this harder than it has to be. You trained me, Sophie. You taught me never to abandon someone who trusted me. Sophie looked sad. I also taught you to think about the bigger picture. Maya could destroy civilization if she's not properly contained. I'm not a weapon, Maya shouted. The little girl's anger triggered her telepathic abilities. Every person on the ship felt a wave of mental pressure. The soldiers grabbed their heads and stumbled backward. But Sophie was ready for this. She pressed a button on a device attached to her belt. Suddenly, Maya screamed and fell to her knees. What did you do to her? Lyra demanded. Telepathic suppressor, Sophie explained. It blocks her abilities but causes pain if she tries to use them. Lyra tried to help Maya, but the soldiers pointed their weapons at her. I'm sorry, Sophie said. But Maya is coming with us. You can visit her once she's safely contained. That's when Dr. Chen, who had been pretending to be unconscious, activated an emergency system. The ship's self-destruct sequence began counting down. 30 seconds to explosion, the computer announced. You're crazy, Sophie yelled at Dr. Chen. Better dead than in your hands, Dr. Chen replied. Everyone ran for the escape pods. In the confusion, Lyra grabbed Maya and Dr. Chen. They reached the stellar drift just as the New Hope exploded. Sophie's ship was damaged by the explosion. The Iron Wolf's engines were offline and they couldn't follow Lyra's ship. As they flew away, Maya was still in pain from the telepathic suppressor. Dr. Chen gave her medicine to help with the headaches. I'm sorry, Dr. Chen said to Lyra. I should have known Sophie would betray us. The organization she works for has been hunting enhanced children for years. What organization? They call themselves the Guardians. They think they're protecting the galaxy by controlling dangerous people. But really, they just want to use those people as weapons. Lyra felt sick. She had trusted Sophie. They had been friends for decades. What do we do now? She asked. Dr. Chen looked at the coordinates she had given them earlier. We save the other children, all of them. Maya, despite her pain, nodded. We have to help them. They're probably scared and alone, just like I was. Lyra realized that their mission had changed. They weren't just running anymore. They were going to fight back. But first they had to find the secret facility where the other enhanced children were being held, and they had to do it before Sophie's organization found them again. As they flew through space, Maya asked a question that made Lyra's heart ache. Do you still want to take care of me, even though I'm dangerous? Lyra looked at the little girl who had become so important to her. Maya, you're not dangerous. The people who want to use you are dangerous. And yes, I still want to take care of you, no matter what. Maya smiled, but Lyra could see the fear in her eyes. The little girl was growing more powerful every day, and they both knew that power came with a terrible price. The question was, would Maya be able to stay human long enough for them to find a solution? The secret facility was on a dead planet called Kepler-7. It had no atmosphere and no life, just gray rocks and ancient craters. The perfect place to hide something terrible. Lyra, Maya, and Dr. Chen approached the planet carefully. Their ships' scanners showed a large underground complex built into the planet's crust. It was surrounded by defense satellites and patrol ships. There, Dr. Chen said, pointing at the scanner. That's where they're keeping the other children. Maya pressed her face against the cockpit window. Even from space, she could feel the other enhanced children. Their minds were like distant lights in the darkness. They're scared, Maya whispered. And some of them are angry, really angry. Dr. Chen checked her medical equipment. Some of the children may be too damaged to save. The experiments have been going on for 3 years since you escaped, Maya. Lyra studied the facility's defenses. We can't fight our way in. There are too many guards. I have an idea, Maya said, but it's dangerous. She explained her plan. The facility had a main communication array that sent signals to all the guard posts. If Maya could connect to that array with her telepathic abilities, she might be able to disrupt their communications and security systems. But using that much power could hurt you, Dr. Chen warned. I know, Maya said, but those children need help. I won't leave them there. They landed the stellar drift in a canyon near the facility. Lyra and Dr. Chen put on spacesuits, but Maya didn't need one. Her body was changing because of the architect DNA, and she could survive in space for short periods. They reached the facility's outer wall just as alarms started ringing. Sophie's organization had found them. They're here, Lyra said, seeing ships in the sky above them, but they weren't the only ones coming. Corporate security ships were arriving too, and behind them came Earth Alliance military vessels. Everyone wanted Maya and the other enhanced children. It's going to be a war, Dr. Chen said. Maya closed her eyes and reached out with her mind. She found the facility's communication array and connected to it. Information flooded into her brain. Security codes, guard positions, and the locations of the other children. I found them, she said. 12 children in the lower levels. But Lyra, some of them are really dangerous. The experiments made them unstable. They entered the facility through a maintenance tunnel. The corridors were white and sterile, just like Maya remembered from her nightmares. Emergency lights flashed red, and automated voices announced security breaches. They reached the first holding cell and found a girl about Maya's age. She had blonde hair and blue eyes, but her expression was empty and cold. Hello, Dr. Chen said, gently. We're here to help you. The girl stared at them without speaking. Then she smiled, and every electronic device in the room exploded. She can control electricity, Maya explained. But she doesn't understand that it hurts people. They found more children in the other cells, a boy who could move things with his mind but had no control over his power, a girl who could become invisible but was terrified of being seen, twin brothers who could share thoughts but screamed when they were separated. We have to get them out of here, Lyra said. But it wasn't going to be easy. The children were scared and confused. Some of them had been in the facility so long that they didn't remember the outside world. Maya went to each child and gently touched their minds with her telepathic abilities. She showed them memories of freedom and safety. Slowly, they began to trust her. "Follow me," Maya told them. "I'll keep you safe." They reached the facility's main level just as the battle above ground intensified. Through the windows they could see explosions in the sky as different factions fought each other. Commander Grant and her corporate security forces had taken control of the facility's main entrance. Sophie and her guardians were trying to break through from the east side. Earth Alliance soldiers were attacking from the west. "Where do we go?" Dr. Chen asked. Maya looked around at the other children. They were all looking at her with hope and trust. She realized that she had become their leader. "We don't run," Maya said. "We fight back." She led the children to the facility's central computer core. It was a huge room filled with servers and data storage units. This was where all the research data was kept. "Can you destroy it?" Lyra asked. Maya nodded. "All of us together can." She had the children hold hands in a circle around the computer core. Then she showed them how to combine their telepathic abilities. The girl who controlled electricity sent power surging through the computers. The boy with telekinesis crushed the hard drives. The invisible girl disabled the backup systems. The twin brothers created a feedback loop that fried the quantum processors. Within minutes, 3 years of research data was completely destroyed. Alarms screamed throughout the facility. Commander Grant's voice came over the intercom system. "Attention enhanced subjects. You are destroying valuable scientific data. Stop immediately." "No," Maya said into the intercom. "We're destroying evidence of crimes against children." The battle above ground was getting closer. Explosions shook the facility's walls and chunks of concrete fell from the ceiling. "We need to leave," Dr. Chen said. But when they reached the surface, they found themselves surrounded. Corporate security, the Guardians, and Earth Alliance forces had all converged on the facility. Hundreds of soldiers pointed weapons at them. Commander Grant stepped forward. "Surrender the enhanced subjects immediately." Sophie was there too, with her black uniformed soldiers. "Maya, you don't understand what you're doing. These children are weapons. They need to be contained." An Earth Alliance general joined them. "These children are citizens of human space. They belong under our protection." Maya looked around at all the soldiers and ships. Then she looked at the other enhanced children who were scared and clinging to each other. "No," she said loudly. "We don't belong to anyone." She reached out with her mind and touched the ancient architect technology buried deep in the planet's crust. She had felt it when they first arrived. Old machines waiting to be awakened. "Maya, don't," Dr. Chen warned. "You don't know what those machines will do." But Maya was tired of running and hiding. She was tired of people treating her and the other children like objects to be owned. The ground began to shake. Ancient architect structures rose from beneath the planet's surface. Tall towers of black metal covered in glowing symbols. The technology was millions of years old, but it responded to Maya's telepathic commands. A protective barrier of energy surrounded Maya and the other children. The soldiers' weapons couldn't penetrate it. "This is our home now," Maya announced. "Anyone who wants to hurt us will have to go through architect defenses." The alien machines created more barriers around the facility. They built living spaces, where the children could grow up safely. They established energy shields that could stop any weapon. Commander Grant tried to order an attack, but her ship's weapons had no effect on the architect barriers. Sophie looked sad. "Maya, you're making a mistake. You can't trust alien technology." "I can't trust humans either," Maya replied. "At least the machines don't lie about wanting to help me." One by one, the different factions realized they couldn't breach the architect. Defenses. They withdrew their forces, but Lyra knew they would keep watching and waiting. Months passed. The children lived safely in their new home, protected by ancient alien technology. Dr. Chen stayed to help them learn to control their abilities. Lyra taught them how to defend themselves and how to survive. Maya grew older and stronger. Her telepathic abilities expanded, but she stayed in control of them. She learned to communicate with the architect machines, which turned out to be more like helpful tools than dangerous weapons. The other children improved too. The girl who controlled electricity learned to use her power to help instead of hurt. The invisible girl gained confidence and stopped hiding. The twin brothers found peace when they were together. "Are you happy?" Lyra asked Maya one day as they watched the other children playing in a garden the machines had built. "Yes," Maya said. "For the first time in my life I feel safe." "And you're not afraid of your powers anymore?" Maya shook her head. "I understand them better now. The architect DNA didn't make me a weapon. It made me a bridge between humans and their technology. I can help both species learn from each other." Lyra smiled. "So what do we do now?" "Now we help other enhanced children find their way here. There are more out there. Kids who escaped from other programs, or whose abilities manifested naturally. They need a safe place too." Maya had grown from a scared little girl into a confident young woman. She was still human in the ways that mattered. She was kind, brave, and protective of those she loved. "Will you stay with us?" Maya asked Lyra. "As long as you need me," Lyra promised. "I'll always need you. You're my family." Lyra looked around, at the children playing in their protected sanctuary. She had started this journey as a lonely smuggler, trying to help one scared child. Now she was part of something much bigger, a new kind of family that crossed species lines and brought together the best of human and alien technology. The galaxy was still dangerous for enhanced children. There were still people who wanted to use them as weapons or lock them away. But here in this hidden sanctuary they were free to grow up, learn, and choose their own destinies.